Hello everyone and welcome to a philosophical session about reasoning. What is reasoning? Reason is an essential mental faculty used to draw conclusions from ideas, situations, and premises. As an instrument, it is used to seek truth by transposing and integrating statements, ideas, and events into either a deductive or inductive framework. How does it manifest itself? It's dictated to follow a set of empirical rules based on previous experience and propositions about scientific mechanisms and events. How diverse is it? Reason is broader than logic and encompasses a larger set of means by which to connect and assimilate different causal and mechanistic patterns in empirical and theoretical puzzles, events, and problems. Logic is a specific form of reasoning, while other modes of reasoning have a wider compass of imagination and flexible thinking that might not necessarily be logical. They would have guided routes of analytical constructs that can be generated from shuffling different possibilities, through which we can make interpretive objects that can be used to generate or yield hidden rules at the abstract and hypothetical level. What does reason influence? It influences imagination by broadening its scope and elevating its level and ability to dig into data, by generating an organizational structure that yields new quantum units of data that can integrate empirical propositions across innovative and insightful analytical tracks. Direct reasoning may not be very insightful if it's not constructed from hidden objects through which more fundamental paths can be mapped that are capable of accounting for all properties of an event or relational structure. These paths can be set up into an influential and functional system that yields the results through causal expectation or mathematical interpolation. Means as a power of deduction. Reason is an essential faculty that can hold the structure of a phenomena. So basically we put a phenomena into a structure by connecting its events across a set of consistent and active rules that through custom and habit can solidify and we are able to re-engineer objects to be placed in their proper functional domains within the parameters that outline their existence and modification. So reason's proper place, where is it? It is the domain through which meaning can be established from a system of objects that manifest themselves across different positions of an established event. So meaning can be placed on the shift of objects and their properties, when relational transitions can be explored, measured, and tested in a manner which is consistent and adherent to the empirical regions in which structures can sustain, attain, and achieve. Meaning gives a certain degree of consistency, which makes us understand the place of the objects that we study in the universe and their possible interactions that brought them to their current level. So by identifying a system of interactions, we can reconstruct the historical progression of objects and predict their lines of propagation, like into the future, as the forces of transition follow customary rules or flexible rules that are repeated and influenced by the updated characteristics that manifest from the degree of association between entities. So as the entity changes, the degree of association between its rules can change and influences its past. So reason is a mechanistic force through which relational structures can emerge as a measure of the object's orientation into specific positions of its system, which provide its character and its capability of grasping its status within the established aspects of formation. Reason can only be a means to manipulate the relational ideas between objects, but it is not the source that generates the raw materials which are received to humans as sense datum. So what is reason's role? Reason can be thought of as a factory that glues different pieces of objects to make an integrated unit that has a proper place and function, which contributes to the value we adhere to its utility. So reason becomes the mechanism by which this object emerges into a meaningful piece of artifact or commodity that achieves beneficial status to the objectives and activities in which value is assigned to its outcome, to its outcome and active persistence. So a table, let's say for example, only has meaning as to the purpose it delivers, because it was manufactured in a way that gave elevated status to the constituents in which it was formed. A rectangular, circular, and cylindrical piece of wood, they would not have much meaning on their own. However, if they are integrated into a proper design, they can achieve a functional character that is valuable to humans in setting up their objects at convenient heights. By manipulating the position of these wooden blocks, we are able to combine them into the shape of a table. Hence, reason is the means to achieve the desired structure by manipulating and combining the constructs and raw objects that are provided external to the mind. The mind makes sense of these objects by assimilating the possible interaction between objects within their internal geometric and external conceptual structures that encompass visual and abstract entities. How is reason related to other faculties? Reason obtains all its information via senses. That's how it obtains them, but it generates them from within its own faculties. But to obtain them, it needs the senses. Reason extracts objective constructs from the properties of material stuff and event occurrences that are displayed to its senses in the form of sensual data that is manageable by identifying relations and extrapolating properties to fuse and mold, so we can fuse and mold causal and fundamental interactions amongst pairs of objects. Reason entails all disciplines of handcraft and mindcraft, as they all require to connect the dots between the procedures of a task, the progression of an event, or the logical bindings that generate quantitative structures. Reason is needed to bring every piece of the puzzle and assign its semantic value in the overall image and picture in which it resides, interacts, influences, and invades with its descriptive and fabricated qualities. Reason's power. Reason provides high deductive power, as premises involving uncertainty can be attached together and framed in multiple aspects, so we can unthread, uncover, and rearrange the connection between events and their positions along a sequence. This arrangement of events can reveal the probability in which an explanation can become a successful candidate. The probability of events occur in a certain pattern, this can influence the impact and the extent of power by which a theory is able to achieve its function in describing and orienting the object's migration. So how it's changing, its life, its change. By decomposing partitions, by decomposing its life of modification into partitions that build up to the macro relations engulfing a phenomena. So, to conclude it, reason is a powerful device that can achieve high quantitative integration, in which mathematical objects can be retrieved and analyzed based on logical rules and techniques. It can help to solve complex puzzles where fundamental extrapolations are needed to functionalize the quantum power of objects and reflect on their quantitative ability to achieve deductively founded interactions. This tool asserts and verifies results by means of achieving proofs, which are vital in making big consequential leaps between transformational objects within complex numeric and strategy-based systems. So reason can also be the glue, the mathematical glue, or the logic-based glue, or the deductive glue, in which empirical data can be fused together to make the series of events consistent with the behavior of objects in the universe, such as matter, particles, and anything related to physics. Let us give examples of reasons, deductive power. Let us imagine I have 5 pieces of wood which are empty. So I want to place 3 pens, uh, one into one into 3 into the 5 pieces of wood. So there will be 2 empty woods and 3 pieces of wood that are filled with a pen. Now I have here certain rules and constraints. I don't want the 3 pens to be in consecutive wooden blocks, and I restrict the positioning in a manner that 2 pens have to be stuck together, while one should be on its own. So I want to find out how many ways can I place 3 pens in 5 pieces of wooden block. Of course, 2 will be empty, that's the net result, and 3 will be occupied. So in such a manner that there will be no 3 consecutive pens. There will be no 3 consecutive wooden blocks that are filled with pen, and there should be 2 consecutive wooden blocks that are filled with pens. So in this case, it is simple. It's a simple scenario. I can actually count them, but while counting them, I analyze the situation. I can put the two consecutive pens at the extreme. So I'll fill 2. Now I have only 3 places left, but one of them is touching the other 2, so it cannot be filled. So I have 2 options if I place the 2 on that extreme. Now if I move a bit to the center, towards the right, I will have 3 places left, but 2 of these places are touching the 2. So I only have 1 place left. So I had 2 previously and 1 now, so that's a total of 3. Okay, so by symmetry, I filled the first 2 blocks, and then then I moved to 2 pens at the center. I can move again to the center, more to the right, and to the other extreme. I would also get 2 possibilities and 1 possibilities. So that's a total of 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, which is 6 possibilities. So now what I want to do with reason is to use it as a deductive power for n wooden objects. So how do I do that? How do I use reasoning power to deduce the strong logic, to deduce an equation that gives me this power? Continue with me on the next video for some